Coming out of high school, Trevon Duval was viewed as the best point guard in the ESPN 100 and was ranked as the 6th best recruit with a 96th grade by ESPN. Ranked ahead of future lottery pick point guards like Collin Sexton, the 7th best recruit overall with a 95 grade by ESPN, Trae Young, the 23rd best recruit overall with a 93 grade by ESPN, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the 35th overall recruit with an 89 grade by ESPN. He also was ranked ahead of future top 10 picks like Kevin Knox and a top 5 pick like Jaren Jackson Jr. Trevon Duval had a lot of hype coming into college. Because of his explosiveness and his athletic ability from the lead guard position, he drew comparisons to guys like Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose. I even heard some comparisons to Kyrie Irving, but that probably had more to do with the fact that he was going to Duke more than what we actually saw when you watched him play. And after his freshman year, he would go undrafted.
What? What the fuck?
The first factor of this story is the other point guards, the ones mentioned before. Let's start with the most noticeable, Trae Young. Trae Young wasn't viewed highly as an NBA prospect coming out of high school, even though he was a McDonald's All-American and he was a 5-star recruit. However, after a season where he led the nation in points and assists at Oklahoma, which is the first and only time a player has done that in NCAA history, he set up draft boards. And even though he proved his status wrong, including me, let's be real, in college, people still thought he was drafted too high when the Hawks took him 5th overall. And he's proved his status wrong again, finished 2nd in Rookie of the Year voting, after averaging 19 points and 8 assists in his rookie year. The second most noticeable name is Collin Sexton. Sexton averaged 19 points and 4 assists in his lone season at Alabama. He was named the SEC Freshman of the Year and was named second team All-SEC. Sexton was drafted 8th overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers and had a good rookie season, averaging almost 17 points per game and 3 assists per game, while hitting 119 three-pointers as a rookie. The third point guard is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Alexander, much like Trae, wasn't on the radar to start the season. However, he eventually overtook Quade Green for the starting job and showed signs of consistency and worked his way up draft boards. He averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, was named second team All-SEC, and was named SEC Tournament MVP. He was drafted 11th overall by the LA Clippers. In his rookie season, he averaged almost 11 points per game and 3 assists per game for the Clippers. And the Clippers, of course, made the playoffs, and in the playoffs, he averaged close to 14 points per game and 3 assists per game in 6 games against the Warriors. He recently just got traded to the OKC Thunder in the blockbuster deal for Paul George. All 3 of their draft stocks were rising, while Duval's was falling. Entering the year as a potential lottery pick, he was now viewed as a mid to late first rounder that could fall into the second round. He was disappointing at Duke, and part of it was that he was on a loaded roster. He was on a roster with Marvin Bagley III, the ACC Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year, who was a first-team All-American and considered one of the best prospects to enter college since Anthony Davis. He was also a teammate of Wendell Carter Jr., another freshman who was named second-team All-Conference. Grayson Allen, who needs no introduction, one of the more prolific scorers in college basketball at the time. So clearly, Duval wasn't going to get as many opportunities as the 3 point guards I just mentioned. And he did average 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists at Duke, and those are solid stats. On paper, they are very solid stats. But when you watch the game, it's a different story, because the game is more than spreadsheets. Duval struggled on offense, with guys like Carter and Bagley in the paint area where they should be because of their post ability and pick and roll ability, and he wasn't able to use his best gift, which was to get to the basket, and he wasn't able to be effective against bigger athletes. In high school, he used his athleticism to bully lesser competition. And while I know he played at IMG Academy and played against top competition, his athleticism still was probably better than a lot of high school athletes. And the thing is, high school athletes don't compare to college athletes, the same way college athletes probably don't compare to NBA athletes. Duval would not be allowed to use his athleticism to his advantage, especially against top competition like the ACC, against bigger, better athletes that are probably on his level. And he wasn't a good shooter at all, and he was just an average playmaker. He wasn't able to use his craftiness, as well as his explosiveness to get to the rim or score from the mid-range like Collin Sexton. He wasn't a player that created shots for himself or his teammates like Trae Young. And he wasn't a smooth, lanky, tall point guard that fits in almost every system and had a high defensive potential like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was just raw with handles. Duval would not be drafted. He was the first one-and-done player from Duke to ever go undrafted. Afterwards, he would sign with the Houston Rockets and play in the Summer League. And then he would sign a two-way contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. A two-way contract is when you split time between the NBA G League affiliate and the NBA team itself, with the NBA G League affiliate for the Milwaukee Bucks being the Wisconsin Herd. Duval would make his NBA debut on February 8th, 2019, and he scored 2 points and had 1 assist in a win against the Mavericks. And at the end of the season, he would be waived. And recently, on March 26th, he was claimed by the Houston Rockets. And the thing is, I hope the best for him. He was someone I followed closely coming out of high school. And to see him go undrafted, it was a shock to me because, again, even though I didn't think he was as good as we thought he was coming out of high school, I still thought he was worthy of being at least a mid to late first round pick, possibly second round pick area. And he wasn't drafted. And, I think it goes to show you that there's more to the game than highlights, which I mentioned earlier in other videos. And high school, his highlights were insane, but he really didn't have the tools that someone like Trae Young did, or Collin Sexton, to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and it's why those guys got drafted and he didn't. And I think a part of it was we have to realize that athleticism is only as good as the player. And, we can call athletic point guards Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose all we want, but what separates Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose is they have intangibles.